So just starting to find yourself in that comfortable seat, or if you like, coming into that child's pose. So finding yourself on hands and knees, big toes to touch. The knees can be wide or narrow here. And then just starting to sink the hips back towards the heels. So letting them fall against the heels, the forehead coming down to the mat. The fingertips reaching out long, stretching through the arms. Maybe the elbows even slightly lift here. Exhaling, just kind of softening against the ground, letting the arms relax. Just tuning into the breath here. So maybe start by taking several deep breaths in through the nose, sighing that breath out of the mouth. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. One more, breathing in through the nose, and exhaling, sighing it out of the mouth. Take another deep breath in, deep breath out. Slowly starting to pull yourself up, finding a tabletop position. Just kind of stacking the body, so hands come under the shoulders, knees come underneath at the hip points. Maybe finding those cat-cows. On our inhale, the belly drops towards the mat, tailbone lifts as the gaze peels forward and up. Exhale, the chin tucks into the chest, rounding through the spine. Inhaling, belly drops, gaze peels forward, tailbone curls up. Exhaling, tuck and round through the spine, pressing the earth away. Inhaling into your cow pose, belly drops, gaze peels forward. And exhaling, the tuck and round. So finding that at your own pace, however fast or slow it feels good to your body. And if you want, you can even add in some organic movement. Maybe start to circle the hips back towards the heels, rolling forward even slightly over the wrists, stretching them out. Taking those circles, however fast or slow, they feel good. Knowing that your practice is really your own, so you can make with it what you'd like. And the hips find themselves back towards the heels, maybe just switching the direction of those circles. And you feel nice and balanced out, bringing yourself back to center, stacking the body again. Hands come a couple inches forward, widening out your stance. Toes will tuck under, taking a nice deep breath in. On our exhale, sending the hips all the way up and back for your downward dog. Maybe, just maybe, it's your first down dog of the year, or at least the first down dog of your day. So taking a moment to pedal the feet, bending one knee generously, and then the other, stretching through the backs of the legs. See if you can find some stillness, kind of find a deep, deep bend into the knees, almost like the body's kind of sinking towards the ground, and then press into the hands, press into the feet, lengthen through the legs, sending the heels towards the ground, bending the knees generously here, then straightening back through the legs, sending the heels down towards the ground. So just finding that kind of little pulse. Finding one more, sending the hips up towards the sky, lengthening through the legs, heels sending towards the ground. Nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, the gaze comes up in between your hands. Exhale to slowly walk one foot coming in front of the other, making your way up to the top of your mat. Inhaling into a halfway lift to find a flat back there. And exhale, we fold down. Inhale, we root to rise, coming all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, pouring all the way back down, folding over the thighs, finding that fold. Grabbing your opposite elbows, finding your ragdoll, maybe offering a sway side to side. It feels like the body's kind of tight here. Maybe take the feet a little bit wider. Give yourself some more space. Soften a bend into the knees. Let the belly really fall against the thighs. Take a breath here. Another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. On your exhale, releasing the hands towards the ground. Inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. Fingers slide up the shins. Exhale, we fold down, planting your hands down, stepping one foot back, and then the other, pausing there in your plank pose for a moment. See if you can find that strength in the abdomen. Keep the core engaged. Option always to drop down onto the knees here if you need to. Pressing the earth away, staying engaged wherever you are. If those knees are lifted, sending the energy even through the heels. Feel that length through the legs. Try not to let the hips dip down. So those hips are kind of the same height as the shoulders. For 3, 2, and 1. The knees drop down, toes untuck. Trying to pause here. Take a breath first. And then on your exhale, slowly lower down. Find that baby chaturanga. Try to send the elbows back rather than out. Lowering all the way to your belly. We inhale to press the chin and chest up, lifting for a baby cobra. Use those back muscles. Lift the hands here. See if the back muscles are engaged rather than pressing into the hands. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold back down towards the ground. Forehead touches the mat. Inhale, peeling up, baby cobra. Exhale, fold back down. One more like that. Inhale, peel up, baby cobra. Lift the chin and chest. And exhale, press into the hands. Send the hips all the way back over the heels. Child's pose, Balasana. Sighing out the breath. And slowly drawing yourself forward, finding that tabletop position. We'll tuck the toes under. Send the hips up and back, downward dog. Take a moment to align yourself, readjust there. Find your foundation. Take a breath. Sigh it out. On our inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, finding a 3-legged dog. Maybe point the toes, lift that leg a little bit higher. And then bending that knee, sending that right hip over the left, circling through the ankle or the knee. Keeping those shoulders square towards the mat. And then lengthening that right leg all the way back up towards the ceiling. Lifting it a little higher. And then bending that knee, shifting forward into a plank-like pose, knee to nose. Hovering that right leg. Inhale, shoot the right leg back up, 3-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shifting forward to that plank pose. Hover the knee. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, hold here. Little challenge for you. See if you can flex the foot and then slowly pick it up and place it up in between the hands. So it's a little challenge for you to see on, can we get that foot up nice and easily, or do we need to maybe use the hand or use the blocks to find ourselves in that nice long lunge. So finding ourselves there wherever we're comfortable. Right knee is stacked over the right ankle. Really extending that left leg long, and then let that left knee drop down, toes untuck. Hands can stay on the blocks. Maybe they walk up onto that right knee, or maybe they sweep all the way up overhead. If those arms are reaching up, let the shoulders roll down the back, relaxing away from the ears. Taking a nice deep breath in. Maybe the gaze comes up in between your hands. Exhale, the elbows drop, opening up the heart in your cactus arms here. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling, hands come down, framing that right foot. We're going to shift the hips back. Maybe the hands and blocks walk with you as you straighten that right leg, coming into your half splits pose. Trying to keep those hips slightly lifted here so they're not sinking all the way back. You're keeping yourself nice and lifted so that right leg is doing the work and getting that stretch through the hamstring up into the hip space, breathing into the back of that right leg. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Slowly use your inhale, rock forward. Maybe the blocks walk with you, coming back into that lunge stance. And then hands plant down, left toes tuck, left knee lifts, and sending the left foot all the way up to meet the right in your forward fold. Inhaling into your halfway lift with a flat back, and exhaling the fold back down. Inhale, we root to rise, come all the way up to stand, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, pour all the way back down, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold down, plant the hands, stepping one foot back and then the other. Finding yourself again in that plank pose, maybe wiggling the heels back, readjusting however you need to. Keeping the core engaged. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Knees drop down right where they are, toes untuck. Pause here, take a breath in first. Exhale, slowly lower, send the elbows back. Chest comes parallel, and then dropping the hips and belly all the way down. Inhale, peel the nose, the chin, the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, folding back to the mat. Inhale, lifting up, baby cobra. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting up one more time. Again, maybe lifting the fingertips, seeing how much the back muscles are working. And then exhaling, folding back down. This time pressing yourself all the way up and back. Child's pose, hips come back over the heels. Sighing the breath out when you land there. Just reconnecting with yourself. Noticing the body. How does it feel? How does the breath feel? The heart rate. The other sensations within the body. And slowly coming up, finding that tabletop position, tucking your toes under, sending the hips up and back, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a breath there. Again, finding that foundation, getting nice and grounded in this posture. Take a moment to take the fingertips and spread them really, really wide. Press the whole hand down into the mat so all those knuckles are connected. Pressing the heart back towards your thighs, hips rolling up towards the ceiling. Heels sending down towards the ground. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, look up in between your fingers. Exhale, step or walk top of the mat, finding your fold. Inhaling into your halfway lift, flat back, and exhaling to fold down. Inhale, root to rise, sweep all the way up, coming up to stand. Exhale, sinking the hips down, finding your chair pose, Utkatasana. Before we come into that other side, kind of adding in salutations in this chair pose, see if you can send the knees back a little bit. And then remember, we're not super upright. You can find that kind of hinge here. So there's a nice long line of the body from the hip point, kind of all the way up the torso, and then all the way up through those extended arms. Maybe sink the hips a little lower. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Another deep breath in here. Nice hold. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Release the shoulders. And then deep breath in. Press into the legs. Sweep up. Come up to stand. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Pour over the thighs and let that go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Plant the hands. Step one foot back and then the other. Yogi's choice here, maybe finding your knees, chest, chin that we did before, or even finding a slight shift over the wrists and finding that full chaturanga, seeing if you can find the body coming parallel to the ground before untucking the toes and pressing yourself up for your upward dog or cobra. Exhaling the hips all the way up and back, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a breath when you land. settling in, and then grounding through that right foot. This time, left leg lifts up to the sky, finding your three-legged dog. Maybe pointing the toes, lifting that leg a little higher, and then bending that knee to open that hip up. You can circle through the ankle or the knee, keeping those shoulders square to the mat. And lengthening the left leg back up long behind, pointing the toes, and then bending that knee, shifting forward, finding knee to nose, stacking shoulders over wrists. Hold there. Inhale, shoot that leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, finding that shift forward. Left leg stays hovered. Inhale, shoot that left leg up and back, down dog, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Hold here. Flex that left foot and see if you can slowly shift the weight and scooch that foot up in between the hands. Wiggle that stance out. Find your blocks if you need to. Readjust so the legs are nice and long here. And then drop down on the right toes. Untuck the right knee. Or drop down on the knee and untuck the toes. Hands stay on the blocks or come up to that knee or sweeping all the way up overhead. So finding that low lunge on the other side. Take a breath here. On your exhale, elbows drop, opening up the heart, finding our cactus arms. Inhaling to reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come down, framing that foot, shifting the hips back. Maybe the blocks come with you, straightening through that left leg, finding your half splits pose. Breathing into the back of the left leg this time. Noticing the flexibility and mobility in the hips and the hamstrings. Breathing into that space within the body. And slowly rocking forward, shifting back into that lunge stance. Planting the hands down, we'll tuck the back toes, lifting your right knee, sending the right foot up to meet the left, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale for your halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, we root to rise, come all the way up to stand, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Pausing there for a moment, taking a breath. And shifting the weight over to our right leg. The left knee is going to come up into the chest, finding ourselves standing tall and strong, testing the balance, seeing if maybe you can lift that knee up a little bit higher. And then on our exhale, we're going to find that warrior three, sending the left leg back behind you, torso and leg come parallel to the ground. Soft bend in that standing right knee. Hands can be at heart center, back behind, wherever they're comfortable. Teeter totter if you need to wobble, you can wobble. You can always fall out of it and come back in. And then when you're ready, dropping those left toes back behind you, arms sweep up, big high crescent lunge here. Seeing if you can stack that right knee right over that right ankle. Let the shoulders release down the back. Nice deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Exhale, elbows drop, opening up the heart, finding your cactus arms, testing the balance. Maybe you offer a little back bend. Inhale to reach back up overhead. Exhale, hinging from the hips to pour the hands down to frame that right foot. Right foot is going to shoot back and up into your three-legged dog. And then stepping that right leg down to meet the left, shaking out the hips side to side. And then gazing up in between the hands on our exhale, step or walk, top of the mat, find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, we root to rise, come all the way up to stand, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Coming into that other side, let's shift the weight over to that left foot. Right knee comes up into the chest, maybe finding it as high as you can, just squeezing it up, getting that hip flexor engaged. And when you're ready, hinging from the hips, shooting that right leg behind you. Warrior three, Virabhadrasana three. Torso and leg parallel to the ground. Breathing here. Again, teeter-totter if you need to. Weeble wobble as much as you have to. And then sending the right toes back behind you, possibly with as much control as you can. Arms sweep up, finding that low lunge. Nice. Left knee stacked over the left ankle, arms reaching up overhead, belly button sucking into the spine, core is engaged. Deep breath in here. Exhale, the elbows drop, opening up the heart, testing that balance, maybe offer a little back bend. Inhaling to reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come down, framing that foot, stepping the left foot all the way up and back into your three-legged dog. And then dropping that foot down so the left foot meets the right in your downward dog. Hips to the sky, maybe finding a little shake or sway side to side, stretching out the body here. And finding some stillness in this posture. Nice deep breath in, draws the gaze forward between the hands. On our exhale, step or walk. Top of the mat, find that fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, we root to rise, roll all the way up to stand, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, elbows drop, opening up the heart here, maybe offering that little back bend. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling, hands down behind the back, interlacing the fingers, drawing the knuckles down, pinching the shoulder blades together. Deep breath in, lifts the gaze. Exhale to hinge from the hips, pour over the thighs, let that go. Breathe here in this fold. Allowing the shoulders to find this nice stretch here. If the bind doesn't feel good, knowing it's always optional. See if you can take 3 more breaths. Start to let the heart rate slow down. Notice how the body's feeling. Last deep breath in. Deep breath out. Slowly releasing the hands down towards the ground. Inhaling, lifting halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, we root to rise, come all the way up to stand, sweep the arms up overhead. Then grabbing our right wrist, we're going to reach up and over to the left, finding a little side body stretch. And then coming up, grab that opposite wrist, reach up and over the other way. And coming back up to stand, up and over the other way again. Just finding each side twice here. Coming back up to center and over that other way. And coming back up to center, arms come down by the sides, rolling the shoulders back. And then rolling the shoulders forward. And then arms sweep all the way up overhead. On our exhale, sinking our seat down, coming into our chair pose, Utkatasana. Feet can be hips distance here, or big toes and knees come to touch. Nice deep breath in. On our exhale, hands release down to heart center. Pay attention to the body here. So if you need to peek up, for an example, peek up. Notice kind of how there's that natural back bend we all have. So seeing if we can come out of that, lifting yourself up slightly. Suck the belly button into the spine. Then find that hinge from the hips here. So hinging from the hips, belly button still sucking into the spine. Nice long line of the entire torso here, right? The knees send back over the heels, hips sink down a little lower. Breathe here, hold in that chair pose. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, press into the legs, sweep up to stand. Exhale, pour over the thighs, let that go into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold down, plant the hands, step 1 foot back, then the other. Maybe you pause here in your plank pose. Again, always that option to drop the knees or holding here. Nice little core engagement, little abdominal activation, belly button sucking up into the spine. Keep the core engaged, holding here, pressing the earth away with the hands. Try not to let those shoulders get tired. They are really nice and strong, I promise. Keep pressing. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Knees lower down wide, hips send back over the heels. Pause in your child's pose. Sigh it out, let it go. Taking a couple breaths here. Letting yourself settle back in. Taking another breath or two here. And slowly starting to come all the way up, finding that tabletop position. Restacking the body so the shoulders are stacked right over the wrists, the hips right over the knees. Finding that kind of shake of the hips side to side. And then extending that right leg long behind you, lifting it up so it's about parallel to the mat. Left fingertips walk towards that left corner of the mat. Maybe that arm reaches up, finding opposite arm, opposite leg. Deep breath in, reach through the fingertips, kick through that heel. Exhale, draw elbow to knee under the belly, tucking and rounding the spine. Inhale, reaching out, finding length. Exhaling to tuck and round. Inhaling to reach out, find length. Exhale, tuck and round. Hold here on this last one. Draw the elbow and knee up into the belly. Breathe. Hold. Hold. Inhale, reach out long. Extend the body. Exhale, plant that left hand down. Right leg stays long, planting the foot down as you rotate open into your side plank. Right arm lifts, stacking the shoulders. You can play here if you'd like to play, or maybe practicing that strength, planting through that right foot, maybe reaching through that top arm, finding a side body stretch. Maybe that top leg lifts. Maybe even bend that knee and reach around for the foot. Lots of options to play here. Take in another breath or two. Wherever you are, unwinding, windmilling yourself back down to the mat, both knees and hands connecting into your tabletop position. And coming over to that other side, left foot will extend out long. And then lifting it up so it's about parallel to the mat. Right fingertips walk towards the right corner of the mat, maybe lifting up, finding opposite arm, opposite leg. Deep breath in. Exhale, drawing elbow to knee underneath of the belly. Inhaling to reach out and find length. Exhaling to tuck and round. Inhaling, reaching out. Last one here, tuck and round. Find that hold. Elbow and knee draw up into the belly. Hold here. Breathe. Hold. Hold. And inhale to reach out and lengthen. Exhale, place that hand back down. Keep the left leg long, planting it down. Lifting that left arm up, finding that side plank on the other side. Maybe you stay here, just kind of finding that side body stretch, reaching through that top arm. Maybe the top leg lifts. Maybe you even reach back, finding that bind and that little back bend here. Notice if one side feels different than the other. Whatever posture you're in, slowly unwinding, windmilling back down into your tabletop, shaking the hips side to side. And then tucking the toes under, send the hips all the way up and back, downward dog. Maybe taking a deep inhale through the nose when you get there, and then sighing it out of the mouth, letting that go. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. On our inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, three-legged dog. Bending that right knee, stepping the right foot up on the outside of the hands, moving that right hand on the inside. So kind of wiggle that stance out. Start to drop down on that left knee, untucking your left toes, coming into a lizard lunge. So you should have hand, foot. You can always come onto the blocks too if you need a little more lift here. Just pausing here for a moment. We're going to bring that right hand on the outside. We're going to wiggle that right foot over towards the left hand, letting the shin come down onto the mat. You're going to stay lowered down there in that pigeon pose, lengthening the left leg long behind you. Maybe staying nice and lifted here if that feels comfortable. Or if you want to lower down either onto a block or onto the ground, you can come to forearms or even recline all the way down. See if you can keep that right hip lifted so it's not getting dipped onto too much. So if you need to, take a little block, kind of wedge it underneath of that right hip. Find yourself grounded in this posture in a space that feels good. Breathe into that outer hip. Another deep breath in here. Deep breath out. If you're lowered, lifting yourself up here, maybe removing any of those blocks out of the way. Hands plant down, tucking your back toes. We lift that right leg back to meet the left in that down dog. Pedaling out the feet for a moment, and then grounding that right leg to stretch through the back of it. Through the right leg. The left leg lifts to the sky, finding your three-legged dog. And then bending that knee, stepping the left foot up on the outside of the hands, wiggling yourself out into that lizard lunge. Again, maybe you come onto blocks to lift yourself up. Right knee drops down, the toes untucking. So you find foot, hand here, or hand, foot. Both of the hands on the inside of the leg, sending the hips towards the ground, feeling that stretch through the hip flexor, feeling the external rotation of that front leg. And getting those blocks out of the way, just so you can wiggle that left foot over towards the right hand. This time planting that shin down, lengthening the right leg long behind you, finding that pigeon pose on the other side. And letting that left foot kind of sink in towards the hips as much as you need to. Maybe a block comes underneath of the left hip. Maybe you lower down onto forearms, either onto a block or onto the mat. You're breathing into the body here. Notice how you allow yourself to soften and relax. Maybe noticing if one side feels different than the other. Take another couple breaths here. Slowly, if you're lowered, starting to lift yourself up, maybe removing those props out of the way again. This time rolling onto that left hip, swinging both legs out in front, coming into a seat. Kind of paddle the legs out, shake them out against the ground, maybe even hear them jiggle and shake. Maybe tick-tock the feet side to side. And then lifting yourself up, finding that nice long seat, arms reach all the way up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, pour over the thighs, find your fold here. Soft bend in the knees if you need one. Maybe the arms even wrap underneath of the legs. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Use your inhale, slowly roll all the way up. Coming back into that seat, hands come behind the hips, soles of the feet to the mat. Tick-tocking the knees left and right. And coming back up to center, hands come behind the thighs, rolling yourselves all the way down to your backs, meeting with the knees, hugging into the chest. Giving yourself a little squeeze. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then hugging that right knee into the chest, extending the left leg out long. Maybe that right knee kind of comes in towards the armpit. And then taking your left hand on top of that right knee, we're going to cross that knee across the body, coming into a twist, letting the right arm sweep out to the side in a big T shape. Breathing there. Get a couple more breaths here. And slowly coming back to center. Unraveling as you hug both knees up into the chest, extending that right leg out long. Really stretch through that right leg. Maybe flex the toes and kind of kick through that heel. Drawing the left knee into the armpit, giving it that big squeeze. And then taking the right hand to that left knee, crossing it across the body as you come into a twist. The left arm extending out long. Trying to keep those shoulders grounded as best you can. Breathing into this twist. Taking another couple breaths here. And slowly coming back up to center. This time hugging both knees up into the chest. And then reaching for your happy baby, either the outsides of the ankles or to the outsides of the feet. The knees draw in towards the armpits. And finding a little rock side to side here. And coming back to center, hugging the knees into the chest, giving yourself that big squeeze or hug. Maybe the chin tucks into the chest, the forehead comes up towards the knees, coming in the tightest little ball you can make yourself. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, releasing everything long, legs out by the sides, arms down by the sides. Maybe just tuning into the breath here. Allow yourself to soften, to relax, maybe to reflect or to release. Just noticing. Maybe noticing the breath, the heart rate, the temperature of the body, the other sensations of the body. Maybe how the joints and muscles feel now. Do you feel open? Are you open and ready to receive? Are you able to just let go? Let go of the worry, the stress, the to-do list, the grocery list, the text you forgot to answer, and just let it all go for a moment. Sometimes it's all we need is just a moment to let go, to release, to forget, to ground ourselves, to release, to rest, to recharge. That's what our Savasana is. An opportunity to rest, to release, to recharge, to seal our practice. Starting to maybe deepen your breath here. I invite you to let out a sigh. Starting to wiggle the fingers. Wiggling the toes. Reaching the arms all the way along overhead. Finding a nice long body stretch. And then rolling over to your right or your left side, pausing in that fetal position or your embryo pose. Maybe taking a breath there. Thanking yourself for showing up, for arriving to your mat and to your practice. And slowly starting to press yourself up when you're ready into a comfortable seat. We'll meet with the hands at heart center, the gaze down at the fingertips, or maybe the eyes gently closed. And sending the hands up overhead, taking a deep breath in as you open the pointer, middle, and ring finger, creating our lotus mudra or our Padma mudra, a symbol of openness to the universe, to accept its light, love, and happiness. Taking a deep breath in, absorbing all that good stuff. Closing it between the fingertips, drawing the hands down to your heart center. We bow our heads. The light, love, and happiness in me sees, honors, and appreciates the light, love, and happiness in you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May you go in peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I appreciate you being here on our virtual, and I hope you enjoyed the flow.